All right, this is CMA. It's April 2nd, 2019. I'm Greg Flanagan, and these are my people. These are my people. CMA. Comparable market analysis. We're lucky to have APC, which means we used to call it Anton's power curve. It's an automated system, deep logarithms, and I have no idea how it works. You put your numbers in, it spits it out. That's another whole class. What I'm going to do today is CMA the old school way. All right. This is what the appraisers and the banks will base most of your appraisals on. Hey, my house, what is a comparable market analysis? A comparable market analysis is taking one house and comparing it to the rest of the houses in the neighborhood, and then adding or subtracting different features of those houses. And you would think that, hey, if you have a bedroom, it's worth, and it's 20% of the house, it's going to be worth 20% of the value. It's truly not. And that's not the way they work. And that's what we're going to go over today, is how to work that value. It's a deeper dive. It's probably more than you need to know. But because you know it, you'll be a better agent, and you'll have a better understanding of how to price a property. Is that agreed?
Yes.
They all shook their heads. That's a beautiful thing. All right, we're going to work with numbers. First thing you have to understand is that there's a 20%. 20% is a magic number. I've learned this through the banks. I used to do 300 valuations a year for some of the banks during a down cycle, during the recession, when people were foreclosing. 20% is a rule. 20% of what? What they call GLA, gross living area. What is a gross living area? People say, oh, stuff that's undercooled and heated conditions. No, gross living area means that you can live in that area. Okay? There are many houses, especially in the north and the southwest and here in South Carolina, that don't have heat or air conditioning, but they are still part of the house. So if somebody says, hey, is that heated space? It doesn't make a difference to us. Gross living area, square footage equals the same thing. That's your overall square footage of the house. If you find this on the tax records, you're going to see it's broken down by upstairs, downstairs, garage, decks, porches, etc. All right? We're looking for this, up and down and gross living area. Pretty much the same thing, slight difference. This is just a gross living area. All right, 20%. Your home is 2,000 square feet. Of that 2,000 square feet, you want to take a house and what are we looking for? Number one, we're looking for neighborhoods. And on most traditional neighborhoods that have planned unit developments, PUDs, you're going to find that all the houses are going to reach into this little formula. First thing we're going to do is 80%. So you multiply 2,000 times 80% is 1,600 square feet. That's the low side. That's a comparable property to a 2,000 square foot home. The lowest you want to go is 1,600 square feet. You'll find in many developments, if you have a 2,000 square foot home, the lowest one you're going to get is 1,600 square feet. So that's the low side. The high side is 2,000 divided by 0.8. Somebody do that math for me real quick. What is it?
2,400.
2,400. Okay? So what you just did, you took 20% down and 20% up. All right? So this is your base. You're going to look for homes in the 1,600 to 2,400 square foot. You're going to return how far back? Time frame. The banks want to see no further than 6 months. Now, this historical is historical. What's happening in the last 6 months? Is the market, the reason they want 6 months, is they want to know if the market is what?
Rising or falling?
Increasing or decreasing. Okay, that's why they want 6 months historical data. You can go back a year. APC, the Anton Power Curve, goes back a year. That's great. It's actually might be a little bit more accurate. It's not what the banks are looking for as far as possibly what they want to see. Each bank's a little different. Each lender's a little different. So time frame, 6 months historically back. So now we got the first thing. We got our. Here's our parameters. We're going to call them parameters. 1,600 to 2,400 square feet. 6 months. The next thing we're going to look for is style. What does style mean?
So like
Style
ranch,
of the house?
2-story.
Architectural?
Right.
Yeah.
Ranch, 2-story, that kind of thing. Normally we could split this up into ranch, 2-story, Tudor. It all depends on what the house is. What is the characteristic of the house? So now you get your style. Ranch, right? We're looking for ranches, 6 months. What's our next thing? Distance. The first you go, now distance is important because what happens, especially when you get an outlier or something that's not consistent, you don't have a PUD, planned unit development, you get an outlier. You get something on the river, you get something that doesn't have a planned development. You get into like Hobcaw in Mount Pleasant where the houses were built over 50, 60, 70 years. So the distance is, first, you look for the neighbor, you look for the PUD, planned unit development, right? If it's inside a PUD, which is probably the last 30 years, could be a unit, could be urban, it all depends on what you want to call it. All right. You distance your PUD, your neighborhood. If you still can't find it, you start going out 1/4 mile, 1/2 mile, 3/4 mile, etc. And you find it. You find the similar 1,600 to 2,400 sold in 6 months, and it's a ranch. Distance. Time, size, style, okay, and distance. So you would think you'd got that all figured out, right? So you come down and you're going to pick, let's say you return 20 houses. The first thing you're going to pick, you only want 3 houses. 3 houses is the way they do it. They start with 3, sometimes they go up to 6. But quantity, 3 to 5 homes. Nearest, soonest to present. What sold the closest to the date that you're preparing the CMA. flies in the face of time wanting to know about market going up or down. A lot of the financial institutions say, give me the closest, but I also want your opinion on whether the market's going up or down. That's why you're pulling the 6 months. Okay, so you pick the top 3 to 5 homes closest to the present time. Take those 3 homes, 4 homes. I'm gonna erase the board here so I don't get it all crazy. So you got 3 ranches. Ranch 1, Ranch 2, Ranch 3. 1, 2, and 3. This one's got 3 bedrooms. This one's got 3 bedrooms. This one's got 4. They're all, this is like 1,700 square feet, 1,900 square feet, and 2,100 square feet. Normally what we would do is we're going to, let's go with amenities. Let me get that in there. Okay, porch, pool, porch, fireplace, fence. What's one more? What's one more? Porch, pool, porch, fireplace, fence. Garage. I'm going to assume they all have 2 cars. Well, you know what? Let's go with 1 car garage. All right, that's a good one. These all have 2 car. So, the price of the homes. Let's say 250,000. 250,000. 270,000. I don't know. Let's change this one here. I don't know how it's going to work out, but here's what we got. 3, 3, and 4. We're going to adjust these, and you know on the back of MLS they just put that adjustment on there, right? It says adjust for amenities or adjust for rooms. The problem with that is they don't let you do a negative, which is unbelievable. So our home, the sales home is a 4-bedroom with a porch, no garage. Here's where subjective comes in. Because this room, and you should do this on a spreadsheet, and there's spreadsheets out there. All right, so we're going to compare the sales one we have looking at the price, right? Our subject, let's call it subject. That's what they call it. We're gonna compare this one against this one, and we're going to adjust this one. All right. So we got a ranch. It's 1,700 square feet. Ours is 2,400 square feet. What did we say ours was? 2,000 square feet. Ours is 2,000 square feet. So square footage. What's the difference of subject minus sold 1? That's what we're going to call that house. 200 minus 1,700, 300 square feet. What do you think the number should be on that square footage?
The price per square foot?
Yeah, price per square foot. We're going to adjust this.
Right, so it's 17, it's
We're gonna adjust it for 300 square feet, this being smaller.
Right.
We're gonna take 270, we're gonna divide it by 1,700 square feet. $270 divided by 1,700 is $158. So here's the problem. If we took 158 times 300,
474.
that's $47,000 difference. Why? You don't. What you're going to do is you're going to multiply this number. All right. So there's 47,400. You're going to multiply 47,400 by a percentage of the total price. That percentage is normally 30%. Why? It's just the way it is. So that's 14. All right, we're going to take this one here, right?
Yes, branch one.
Branch 1. So for square footage, we're going to add 14,200. All right, that's an add to the 270. Got it? All right. 3 bedrooms versus 4 bedrooms. Bedrooms. There's a difference in bedrooms. What do you think a bedroom's worth? On a $250,000 house, 270. This comes from just knowing it, and depending on what the class of house is. So if you walk in and it's a 1950 house with a bedroom that's got plaster on it versus a 2020 house where it's got sheetrock and crown and all that stuff, a little bit different pricing range, right? I'm going to say this is a 1965 home, hasn't been redone in the bedroom. It's got the original sheetrock on it. You know, it's got the little shoe molding on it. Probably going to price those bedrooms out at about $1,500. Okay, so the bedroom is going to be $1,500. Whereas if you're in Isle of Palms, and the bedroom is a 20 by 20, 16-foot ceiling, on air conditioning, and walk-in closets, that number's going to go up to 35 or 4,000. So the 1,500, we're going to add 1,500 for the bedroom, right? You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
Am I too far over?
You are now.
Okay.
That's the end of your.
Let me. Does that work on there or no?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
on there.
That's fine. Great. I'll keep everything else right here.
Okay.
So, and each one of these you're going to do the same thing. So this is going to be square footage 1,900, and we're doing. We already determined the price. At 158 times 0.3 equals $47 a square foot. So square footage is going to be $47.40 a square foot. Bedrooms are going to be $1,500. These all stay consistent as we go down through here, right? So this one here, we're 100 off, so that's going to be plus $474, right?
Yes.
100 times 4740 is 4740. Okay. The bedroom, we're going to add 1,500. This is where it becomes real subjective. So if you got 246,700 plus 244,900 and 260 divided by 3 equals wrong number. 246,700 plus 244,900 plus 260 divided by 3. You're at 250,530. So 250,500. That's a good price. You're in the middle, you know what your high is, you know what your low is. There's your square footage to block it all out. Would you pay $250? So now you're giving up a fireplace, a 2-car garage, and a porch. Would you pay $250 for a 4-bedroom with a porch? No garage, but more square footage. I think that's the way buyers do it anyway. Right, so this one and this one are about comparable, and actually came out to $250, right? Does it make sense? And do you have any questions? If you don't have any questions, I didn't do a good enough job. So it's got me confused some days.
How do you present this?
You don't.
Oh, so this is
not,
just for
this
the
is
agent.
this is backroom stuff. This is not presented. No.
I don't mean like the individual calculations. I don't know. I guess
If
I've
I
had
was-
friends who talk about looking at comps when they're buying a house, or asking their agent to pull comps. That was a term familiar to me before I
Right.
came to work here.
What
and I
they
guess-
think are comps are not comps.
Okay,
What they think, you can do a comp, you can pull comps out of a neighborhood,
right.
okay? But it's just like Bob, just like when I get in there and the guy says, my house is unique. Of course it is. You've done something to your house. I've done something like, you put a pool in, and that pool just shoots up. I mean, the value of a house. Houses that were at this level, all of a sudden get up to this level or this level because of what they have in them.
Yeah. So you wouldn't present this to a seller. It informs you, the agent.
We used to present this
When-
to a seller. Believe it or not, yes.
Okay.
We used to present this to a seller. You had a sheet, you had a form, and it went down through and you would go boom, 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 boom. And you would present it. They don't understand it. That's where APC
Well, and
comes
that's
in
where
so well.
I was going with that, is how do you present this in a way that makes sense, that helps them choose between,
What APC did
This,
was
that, or
took
the other.
this, APC took all this and put it in a visual format.
Mhm.
So now you've got it laid out. Bob spent $270 on this one, Bill spent $270 on that one. Why are they the same? Well, here they're all the same because we broke it down into the basics. This because it had a pool, but it didn't have any square footage. We were 300 square foot off. This was because it was a larger house with a porch. It was 400 square foot bigger. Yada 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 yada. You know, it's just makes sense though.
so for the agent, this serves to help you price a listing correctly. That's
If
the
they do it
core,
correct, right.
core function of this exercise, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
How did you get where did the differential come from again? Like what's the,
The banks, the finance companies.
Okay.
That's what I
The
was
20%,
taught.
the 30%,
Okay.
yeah.
Those are things that they talk about. And the reason they talk about it is because you can skew, this number skews this sale price. You'd be up into the 300s,
mm-hmm,
okay? The 0.3, the 0.2, some people go down to 0.2. It's a very subjective number. I find 0.3 normally works. And people go, yeah, but the only thing it doesn't work for are pools. Pools are going to show you 70 to 100% of their value. If you're in a neighborhood if you're in a subdivision with no pool, and you have a pool in your yard, you just became king,
right.
right? You have a pool. Nobody else has that amenity in the area, so your pool is going to be worth more. Whereas if you're in a community where everybody's got a pool, it's a pool. You know, it's a pool.
Is there some kind of secret list somewhere of what
Negative.
things cost?
And
Right here.
if it's
Okay.
all like
There is.
beautifully landscaped as opposed to,
Again.
does that all,
Yes.
okay,
But what's your landscape? What's your landscaping supposed to be as a value of a house?
I don't
What's
know.
the percentage? The
Don't know.
value of your house, this $270,000 house
Mhm.
should have $27,000 worth of landscape.
So
10%.
Okay, 10%. Now, if you were to value that as part of your calculation, where it's got a really nice, I mean, this guy's got foundation plants, and you've got mature, blossoming, fully blown, professional. He's at 27,000. This guy's at 0. What's the value of the landscape?
It's 27,000. It's 27,000, right?
Times
Oh, times 3, times 0.3.
$9,000. Now, if it's over the top, you could say it's 30, 40, 50,000,
Right.
but you're still at 0.3. Don't overrate yourself on too far. This is all about being conservative.
Right.
You know, try to put it in the box. If they've got a 3-car garage, you beef up the garages. If they've got, you know, whatever it is that they have, you've got to subjectively say to yourself, what did it cost? And if I have a house without it, what's it worth to me to put in time, money, and aggravation? But you're going to find that this works very well. As you see, I pulled those numbers out of my butt, and they came out exactly where they needed to be. Right. It's a good system. It's a great system when everything else fails, and you're having that hard time. Now, let me ask you a question. So,
Wait, can I go first?
go ahead.
Why would you choose to do a comp this way instead of, or in addition to, Anton's?
In a regular neighborhood, regular being Park West, everything's the same. You know, everything was built by D.R. Horton or Wieland or whoever. Anton works perfectly.
Perfectly, yeah.
Anton works perfectly. Click, click, click. Not a whole lot of difference. This guy's got red walls. He's got pink walls. You know, he's got great landscaping, better appeal. He's got a pool. So that's what I was about ready to raise. Because what happens here is that we go back to, when does this come in handy? It's when you have an outlier. It's when you have an outlier. What's an outlier?
Something that doesn't conform to all the other.
Exactly. And you've got to go out and grab the, I don't want to erase
Like
it.
things
So-
on
Like that
6
in-
Mile or
Correct.
even in Commonwealth or whatever. It's
Right. Darrell Creek.
Yeah.
Say Ford
Spark
Row,
Street,
right? Where they're
whatever.
all independent builders.
Right. Exactly. Even the independent builders, unless it's custom, and let me tell you something, it's not custom in Darrell Creek anymore. It's not custom. There's not a lot of custom jobs going on. You don't have architects building things anymore. It's just go on hlgooch.com, pick out your house, bring it over. We'll take out this wall and move that wall. It's all the same friggin' building pattern with the same flaws and deficiencies in HL Gooch. You ever seen the backside of HL Gooch? HL Gooch has got a very popular floor plan. I don't remember what they call it, but it's like this. The way you
It's
can
an
tell is, it's like an H.
The dog bone.
That's exactly what it is. Dog bone, good. This is under eaves, right? This is upstairs. These are under eaves. This is the staircase. Bedroom, 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 bath, bath, family room, out to a deck, and downstairs is exactly the same thing, right? And what I've found, downstairs the kitchen is usually over here, kitchen nook, master bedroom is down here, big old, this takes up the whole side, drawing room up front, office over here, or a formal living room. And then this is the grand room, right? And a deck. Wow, great place. You're gonna see those houses as you go through. Normally the center staircase. You know what this is called? Open arms,
Oh, yeah.
right? You see
Right.
those staircases?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right, it's called open arms. So, what I have seen multiple times, these things are up on pillars normally. And they run those pillars right across here, underneath, for supports. They miss this back bedroom. These
Really?
back bedrooms are hanging off. I've seen 3, 4 houses. And what's happening is that this entire,
Slope.
thing is stressed down. It won't fall off. I mean, it's just stressed. So be careful of that. It's on the
Take
point.
it off, Paul.
You can go down, yeah, you can go downstairs and actually look at it as you're underneath it. But this is an HL Gooch.
Yeah.
HL Gooch.
I've seen them.
Very, very popular house. It's all over the Low Country. And it makes you the expert on what's out there and what's not. I don't know what they call them, everybody's got a different name on them, but those are the most popular. All right, outliers. Everybody got this?
Yeah.
Outliers. Here's the thing on outliers. Outliers are a pain in the butt. You're gonna have a hard time because everybody thinks they're unique. They're not, they're just a house. And that's the first thing you gotta understand, is the house is first. Everything you're gonna do with that house. You're going to do the house just like we just did.
For the camera, Greg's taking a break to write it up. For the camera.
Want to make sure he does. Go get that to
Yeah.
me, please. All right. So the outlier is going to be the same way you did the house. 2100, 3100, 4, and it's going to come down to more about condition, location, and amenities. Those three things come in a lot with outliers. Of course, this is all subjective in my opinion, but I've done enough of it. If everything's equal on condition, then you don't have to worry about it. Location, this is normally where you get it. You get them out in the rural area, you get them on the rivers, you get them in the
Gated communities.
gated communities. All right, amenities. You got docks, pools, extra buildings. What else? Large garages, income apartments. What else? What else? Pools, docks, water, lakes, ponds.
Yeah, like Marsh View.
Right. Views. Good one. What else?
And then you also have in there the neighborhood amenities, like tennis courts.
There you go. Tennis, golf. What else? Septic well.
Irrigation.
Yeah, just minor stuff. All right. All these things and many more come into play. All right. Condition, good, bad, old, new. You find a lot of people built this customized, you know. It's got this beautiful large bath, but it's 1950s pink,
Yeah.
you know. It's got the little square tiles, which retro, some of the people like it, right? So all these things are gonna come into play. And you're gonna do the same thing you did with the adjusting it the way we did the original houses. I think the biggest thing here comes down to subjective. What are you looking for? if you have a home, let's say we have a home on the river home, back of a neighborhood, and this is a true story that I had, back of a neighborhood, and in the front of the neighborhood, so here's the river, that's the Ashley, I think we're getting, no, yeah, we're up on the Ashley, it's in Somerville. Okay, home sat here, home sat here, home sat here, home sat here, big expanse of other lesser homes, tract homes, you know. This one had a view of the river. It had a dock. Wasn't all that big. Wasn't all that great condition. Wasn't like it was a mansion. It's just a nice H.L. Googe house. Okay? And it sat there. There were no sales here. Now the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go look for sales right in the neighborhood, right? No sales. Quarter mile, half mile, 3/4 mile, no sales. Can't find them. There were sales down here in this tract, but they were about $200,000 less. Okay? That I thought a reasonable person would say, this house and this house are not the same. Okay? They were $200,000 less. Over here, up the river, 3 miles, was another river community. Right? Similar size houses, similar size amenities, and everything else. So when I priced the house out and listed the house, I priced it against, actually this came down here, some more houses over here. I priced it against these, because this was a pretty fast moving community. I did an adjustment for the speed of sales here. Okay, the time on the market. These houses were newer, they were going quicker, so I adjusted my guy a little bit down. No problem. It still came out about $750. Sure, yeah, I think it was about $750. We got a buyer within normal time range, about 50 days. They offered us money, we negotiated back and forth. We came up, I think, with $650. Everybody's happy. The appraiser came in, and the guy was from Aiken, South Carolina. And this is where you have to watch out, because if they don't know the area, they don't know the area. They have no idea. He's working off the same thing we are, MLS. He says the closest house, right here, is $350,000. This house must be $350,000. This house has a river. He didn't give me enough for the river. He didn't give me enough for the dock. He didn't give me enough, period. I contested this with the finance people. Okay, in other words, they came to me and said, your appraisal didn't make appraisal by X amount of dollars. Tried to talk to the appraiser, didn't work. What's the next step when you can't get it done by that appraiser? You know what you have to do?
Get another appraiser.
Get another finance company. Okay? Because
You can't change the appraiser.
The finance company has the final say of who the finance company say, all right, we're going to get another appraiser. This finance company said, no, we agree with the first appraiser. So
Right.
I actually had to tell the seller, the buyer's agent, use Matt. Matt goes and finance companies don't have the right to pick and choose anymore. They go into a pool and it's a blind draw. Whoever you get, you get. We have the opportunity as listing agents to prove that this is the number and it's the right number, and that's what I did, and I showed it to him. This new appraiser came in, and he wasn't from Aiken, South Carolina. He was from Charleston, South Carolina. He knew North Charleston. This is Ashley Phosphate Road, by the way. He knew North Charleston. He knew what was going on. You know what numbers came in at? And what houses he used? Right here. He used these, that number was good, and we went to close. How did we get there? You have to go out and look for similar type properties. Just go out and look for it. If it's on a dirt or a gravel road, look for properties that are on dirt or gravel within the closest properties. You can't go out 20 miles and skip over 5 other houses because that's the house you want. No. You have to go out, do it by distance first on the outliers, Okay, style, amenities, you know, size doesn't really matter when you're getting into this. As long as you keep it somewhere close, size isn't gonna matter. Now, if it's a 900 square foot against a 5,000 square foot, size matters. Mostly, you're gonna be looking at style and amenities. Where is it? What's it got in common? The more things it's got in common to the original Outlier, the better off you're gonna be. Things to watch: septic, well, neighborhoods. What's it like to drive into the neighborhood? What's across the street? What's down the road? If there's a dirt mine, you know, a quarter mile down the road, and all the trucks have to pass their house, it's not comparable. Or it could be comparable, but you can knock it down on location. Okay, location, adjust the location down, big time. Outliers, you can, if they're up in a bigger, more expensive realm, you can take 50 grand off. You can take 50 grand off. There is a percentage, I can't remember it now. There is a percentage that the banks allow you to pull off. You really can't adjust more than 30% on anything. You can't say that because he's on a dirt road, it's 30% less than the other guy. All right. Docks, pools. Again, a dock. You know what it costs to build a dock? You're a construction girl.
I don't actually,
What's
but
the-
it's a lot.
What do you consider a lot? What's a lineal foot? If I got a thousand foot dock, what's that bad boy gonna cost me?
Well, a linear foot would probably be, I don't know, 200 a linear foot? About right?
Yeah. 1,000 foot dock's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's as far as you can go nowadays, you know that, right? 1,000 foot is,
No, I didn't know
1,000 foot is as far as you can go with the dock nowadays. You can't cross over any waters, any navigable waters, so if you have a little
Right.
creek, and it doesn't have to be, I mean, the creek, it all depends on what OCRM says, or the Corps of Army Engineers. If that little creek is just a little creek that a paddle boat can get through, you won't be able to cross it. It's real. Yeah, so docks, you gotta figure out what the dock is. You gotta find one with a dock and without a dock, figure out what the cost was. Roads, dirt devils, septic well, that's always important. If you're on Johns Island, be wary of that. Johns Island's got some bad water over there.
Plenty of land that won't work.
Hmm?
Plenty of land that won't
Sure,
work.
and that's-
My
that's-
friends bought some land and they held on to it for 4 years trying to get it to work. Finally let it go. Yeah.
2 acres,
I
Hazelwood,
know.
and they're gonna get it perk. And they know it, thankfully. What questions you got? For where am I welcome? What questions? How do we get where?
It's like the adjustments are, they're very subjective, so it's still a little daunting, but I guess just doing them a lot will.
It's subjective because why? What makes them subjective to you? What don't you, what part of your mind doesn't catch on to that?
Well, there are just so many different.
Pick out the big ones, don't get caught in
Right.
minutia. Don't get caught in minutia. You know, because the guy's got wallpaper versus, you know, wallpaper and ratty carpet, that's condition. If the entire house is that way, it's condition. You're a builder, you know, you can look at that and go, that damn thing's gonna cost me 40 grand. All right, that's gonna cost me 40 grand. Now that's a hard number. Let's get back to it. That's a hard number. 40 grand for a bad condition, I would definitely take that off. You know, that's a hard number. That's not subjected to 3%.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you've got a house that's sitting out there for 270, and a good house is going for 270,
You got to take that
the
40.
40 grand is a hard cost. That's a hard cost, and throw in your holding costs or whatever. You know, that's another whole deal. That's not your average market. If they just finished a remodel job though, and the average house is going for 270 and they put it up for 310, we got a little conversation with that. We got a little conversation with that. You know? All right? Better understanding of, go.
Yeah, I'll say we have an annual CMA as part of our post-close
APC.
follow-up. And that's totally fine. That's actually not my question.
Okay.
My question is more, would there be any value, or what would be the value in tracking? Like just setting up a simple sheet with, on year 1 purchase anniversary, this was the number we sent to them, and on year 2 anniversary, this is the number we sent, and then having
Excellent.
building that to a conversation every other year or so about the rise and fall.
Excellent conversation. Doesn't need an extra sheet.
I mean, for us, more
Nope,
than anything.
Doesn't need an extra sheet. Just put it in CRM. Put it right in there. I do it. That's what the house is worth this year. Just leave it right in your CRM. You're gonna pull it up anyway. You're gonna look at your CRM. That's what CRMs do. They track all that crap. If you're writing it in your CRM, even if you get a prospect and you're going, just type it in CRM. This was my CMA. I think this one you're allowed to put add a PDF file to. Yeah.
Links only.
So yeah, just type it in there. That's all. We don't need an extra sheet. That's just more work. Just more work. What else? That it?
I think so.
They were here too, guys. See, that was my class. Have a good day. Greg Flanagan, 843-952-4444.